Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, welcome. You are tuned into another episode of the Strategic Behaviors Vibecast. However, we got it switched up a little bit. We gonna do something different, you know what I mean? Instead of me and Whiteside on the camera, I got two gentlemen who they came. You know, they got a message they want to get off their chest. I'm truly happy to do this. This been a long time in the making. You know, so without further ado, you can start from left to right or right to left. I would love for you men to introduce yourselves, and then we can get into the, you know, the minutia of why we here today. So, you know, the floor is yours.
Alright, I'm Eric.
Oh man, we here to explain Islam.
Okay, let's get into it. Now that we got the names out the way, let's talk about how we got here today. You know, I'll start off with my brother Rouse. Is that cool with you, sir? Let's get into it, man. How did we get here today to speak about Islam? Talk to me, man.
Well, you know, I've been a Muslim now for about 2 years.
Okay.
And Christianity is actually what brought me to Islam. You know, when I was a Christian, some years ago, I remember that even the pastor that I was under used to always say, "Go behind me and read for yourself. You know, don't take my word for it. Read." And because he told me to do that, to read, that's what made me dig deeper for myself and got on this rabbit trail, and it brought me to Islam.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at today, and I love it.
Okay. So, Aaron, talk to me, man. What exactly brought you to Islam, sir?
I was just curious, dog. Like growing up, you know, we follow what our parents taught us, you know,
Okay.
and we don't question things until we got older. So I think I was about 20 years old. I started looking into Islam, and like nobody taught me Islam, like and what we call dawah, which is spreading Islam to the people. Like nobody gave me a pamphlet, the Quran, none of that. So I just had to look it up on my own. So it took me 3 years before I took Shahada. And then, you know, I just wanted to be more disciplined with God, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's about it, yeah.
Okay. So, Eric, you said you've been 2 years.
2 years.
How many? How long has it been?
2 years.
2 years as
Yeah.
well.
He
Did you
took
guys
Shahada.
meet each other through Islam, or
We did.
Yeah.
you know? So, how did I guess the two of y'all coming together? Is that a thing where I want to say Islam kind of brought you guys closer, or is it just the individuality of each other and how you guys connected?
Well, how I actually met Aaron was cool backdrop to what you're saying. So when I found Islam, when I came to Islam, I was actually in Wilmington, North Carolina, doing a floor job. Of course, you know I work for myself or whatever, so I'm down there on business doing the job, and I got the Quran. So I'm reading the Quran, and I'm like, I know this is right. So right then and there, I'm saying that I'm a Muslim right then and there. So I call myself that night being a Muslim, right? And I had to come, and then as I dug deeper, I realized I had to do something called taking my Shahada, which is confessing the faith, confessing that the Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet or whatever. So, and doing so, when I went to go take my Shahada, that's how I met Aaron. So he was at the mosque that day for Juma, which is our Friday services. He was there that day, and that's how I met him when it was time for me to take my Shahada.
Okay.
And
So,
we've just been rocking since then.
okay, cool. So, individually, if possible, what exactly is Islam?
Islam, bro, it means submission. A lot of people say peace, but it means submission. You submit your will to God in order to find that peace.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You submit wholeheartedly, you know what I'm saying? Like obedient, you gotta be obedient. You gotta be certain about Islam. You gotta have sincerity, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have love, you gotta be truthful. You know what I'm saying? You gotta accept it too, it's the truth, you know what I'm saying? No doubts in it. You gotta be certain about it. The book of Allah, you gotta be certain about the Prophet Muhammad and what his saying was, and then you gotta really follow what he did and how he was as a person, because Islam, it's for humanity as a whole, you know what I'm saying? It's not for individual people. it's for the whole world basically, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't get that, you know what I'm saying? And growing up, it was just like I used to hear the stereotypes like, oh, Islam is just, you know, for Arabs, or they blowing up people over there in the Middle East.
Right,
or,
right.
You know, you was hearing the basic rulings like, oh, damn, you pork, or for 4 wives, and I'm like, I know it's deeper than that, so I still got the book of notes I got at home when I first learned it, 2-3 pages of notes, and that's what sparked my mind, you know what I'm saying? Then I met a brother by the name of Suleiman. He from Nigeria, so I got in contact with him, and that's how I took my shot. I met him at the masjid and doing prayer. I was like, I was gonna take my shot right now, I'm ready. Ever since then, it's been good for me.
Okay. Just speaking, you know, guys touched on the Shahada, and I first off I want to apologize because, you know, I'm pretty much illiterate when it comes down to some of the terms and things that y'all use.
That's
You know what I mean?
understandable,
So
yeah.
I apologize. I don't want to seem as if I'm disrespecting y'all.
No,
in
that's
no form or
understandable.
fashion,
That's
you know what I'm
understandable.
saying? But when you say you took your Shahada, correct? Shahada.
Yeah.
What is some of the biggest differences that you've seen within yourself as you kind of made this transition?
More discipline.
More discipline? Okay.
More like kind of humble myself and being more content in life, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not chasing after the world,
Okay.
but more so and good morally too, integrity wise.
I can respect that.
A lot of self and ethical and moral checking of myself. Just basic things of Islam, man. I mean, you know, a good deed is giving a person a smile. Smiling at a person walking through a door is considered to be a good deed in our faith.
Right.
So, with that being alone, how could you not? To me, Islam is just like a map. It's a road map and a guide for just life, and it's not just for some people think like Brother Aaron just touched on. It's not just for the Arab. It's not just for the people think it's just for the Palestinian or the Yemen brother sister. No, it's for Islam. Is for all of humanity, all people, black, white, orange, green. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's just a peaceful. It's a roadmap of peace, and that's what it's been for me since I've been a Muslim. It's been peace, a lot of self-control. Now I'm not saying that, not trying to make it seem like, oh, I was just out of control, but like Aaron said, discipline even with my family, even understanding my spouse, understanding my son, and stuff like that in different ways. So it's just been a blessing and good to me. So.
Okay. So, Aaron, if you was to define what a Muslim is, what would be your definition of it? If you could like put it in, I guess, a definitive word. Because I know that growing up, I guess, as you said, the upbringing, being taught what we were taught and raised how we were raised. I mean, to some degree, or not even say to some degree, to a large degree, taking on Anglo-Saxon beliefs. You know what I mean? So a lot of times with that, it's the Christianity, the Baptist, the Catholic, you know what I mean? Those type of things or whatever. So converting from that to Muslim, how would you define what a Muslim is?
A Muslim is just one who submits his will to God. By nature, we are all Muslims.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To submit ourselves to God. But
Okay.
growing up, you know, we either become Buddhists, Hindus, Christians, Jehovah's Witnesses, whatever.
Right.
Because our family, but all the Muslim is one who submits himself to the will of God.
Right. So my rebut to that would be like someone who says they're Christian, they would say that they submit themselves to God.
Right.
Right? So I feel as if, you know, it has to be, I would think, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? There's some difference
Right.
There. Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I asked that question, to just, I guess, try to get, because for me, I'm open to everyone. I don't judge no one.
Right.
You know, I'm a human.
Right, understand.
You know, so
Right.
I asked the question of the definition for that reason, because I want someone who sees this, who may look at a Muslim and automatically create a judgmental idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to open their eyes and give them a sense of clarity of what it means to be a Muslim is the reason I would ask that question. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of what I'm reaching for, if that's possible. You know what I'm saying? Just to define a Muslim from that perspective? How would you guys do that?
Okay, are you saying, I want to make sure I got the question right before I respond. When you asked what a Muslim was, are you saying, because Aaron did say the definition of a Muslim is one that submits.
Yeah.
So your question is, if a Christian, if a Christian is one that submits to God, would they be considered to be
Right,
a Muslim?
right,
Well,
right.
In all actuality, what we say is we were all born Muslim because we're all born under the monotheistic believing that there is one God.
Okay.
So we say in Islam that everybody is born Muslim, but once you're born, again, just like anything else, you take on the customs and the traditions of whom reared you or raised you, as they say.
Okay.
You know, so we take on different customs and beliefs of certain things. Like, I know even in Hinduism, they have certain belief systems. The early Hindus, they were monotheists. They believed in one God.
Right.
You know, and that's why I say, you know, we say we're all born Muslim because we're supposed to submit to the one God and one God alone.
Okay.
So that's why the Muslim would say that everybody that is born, we're actually born Muslim because we're born in a monotheistic belief.
Well, actually reverts, because we reverted back to Islam.
Right.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
Right.
You say that because of
we was already Muslim, we was born.
When we're born.
right,
But
and
the
more
path
so
of
taking
our
away the
parents,
path,
yeah.
and then came back. Okay, I totally respect that. I totally respect that.
Right.
So I guess taking it in the same aspect of where, you know, the life of our childhood journey and it kind of taking us away from what you guys,
Right.
you know, perceive as Islam, converting back to that. How is it within your personal settings and your family upbringing, friends, and people who are basically, you know, were around you guys
Connected.
throughout their transition? How was it when you began the process of transitioning over to Islam, and how is it now?
Now that's definitely different for. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, that's a two-part question, by the way,
Okay.
so I really want to get into the minutia of it all.
when I was studying Islam, I really didn't tell anybody when I was
Okay.
studying Islam. I wanted to just go head on for myself. And then once I was okay with it, you know, I told my folks, and they was cool with it. But like, I don't blame them for how they grew up, cause
Right.
they just going up for how my grandma raised them, and then how whoever my grandma parents, what they taught her, and it goes down the line from who taught this and who taught that. So it's like I can't blame them for what they was taught growing up, but like, it's a lot of stuff people don't know. I just asked for them to read and do diligent research, you know what I'm saying, on Islam. And for me, I try to show Islam through my actions the best way I can. Like, I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, nobody is free from sin, but I just want them to really get to study Islam, like, and go deep into it, you know what I'm saying? But I really ain't have too many problems. I only had like one problem, but I had a homeboy, and he had became Christian, and this I was like a month in taking my shahada, and he had hit me up like, "You still Muslim?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he came at me, man, like, "I'll come back to Jesus," and it was like the whole friendship just separated. I mean, I still love him to this day, but like the connection ain't the same no more. Cause it's like, what's for you, what's for you, what's for me, is for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As a Christian, you shouldn't even come at nobody like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna tell somebody about Jesus or the religion, like, just tell them about it and keep it moving. Like, don't force it upon them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what, you know, back to slavery and things of that nature was forced upon us. But it's cool. There's a lot of stuff they don't understand. I can't really get too deep into detail with them, because it's like, you know, certain things I can't speak on, because on the day of judgment, you know what I'm saying, I got to testify for everything, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't want to say nothing wrong or something that's going to like, I'm trying to think. I want to be careful with everything I explain, because I don't deem to be a scholar, you know what I'm saying? In Islam, everything got to be with references, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I say this, oh, this came from such and such, and this came from such and such, it got to be on the line to the Prophet Muhammad, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm hardly a student of knowledge. I'm not a scholar. I'm just a Muslim, bro, a striving Muslim. But you know, I learn. So the only thing I can tell them is to learn Islam, learn about Tawheed, which is the oneness of Allah. You know what I'm saying? And it's ignorance, bro, but not in a bad way. Like,
right.
It's like the whole difference between Christianity and Islam is Jesus. Like, we look at Jesus as someone who was sent by God and just a messenger, a prophet. That's it. We don't pray to him or consider him as our Lord. You know, so we don't. That's shirk, what we call shirk, and that's an unforgivable sin you can't come back from. So like that's the major difference. And like we don't believe he's the son of God. You know what I'm saying? God doesn't have any offspring. That goes against his whole nature. So like that's the main difference. Like Jesus isn't God, or he's not the son of God. You know what I'm saying? He's just someone who was sent by God to spread a message, and that was it. And his message was to worship God and God alone. So to our sense, Jesus is a Muslim because he submitted his will to God, just like all the other prophets.
Okay, I can respect that. So the same question to you, Brother Rouse.
So for me, since I've been a Muslim, kind of similar to what Aaron said a little bit, I started the search on my own. My immediate family knew, like my wife, my son, they knew, but of course they wasn't really reading and researching like I was, because again, I took a couple of months and I went into different faiths, like I said, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, all of that stuff, you know, just researching and just hungry, you know. And for me, when I became Muslim, just like with my spouse, she didn't become Muslim until a year later. You know, she didn't become a Muslim until a year later. I didn't come home and you need to read the Quran or you need to do this. I didn't do that. I would read the Quran or research and, you know, dig and dive, you know, in certain things. And she may ask me, well, what are you listening to? And she may tune in and she's cleaning. I would come home sometimes. She'll be cleaning the house and maybe listen to some of the messages that I may have had on 2 or 3 days later, you know. So, but for my family dynamic, the changes, it's definitely been a lot of changes for me. I don't know. I come from my family deeply rooted in Christianity, especially my father's side. Mom's side, somewhat also. Pastors and deacons and stuff more so on my dad's side. My aunts and stuff are deep in church. Baptist Christians for the most part. And some of the relationships have kind of been strained a little bit. I don't want it to be that way. I don't think that it's my faith that's doing it, and I say that because, you know, when I became a Muslim, I still like cornbread. I still like corn in my cornbread. So I still like the Jiffy cornbread. You know, me being a Muslim didn't change that. Me being a Muslim didn't change me. But liking Martin Lawrence show, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, I became a Muslim, but I'm still arrogant in a sense. My faith and my belief is different, you know. But some of my family members have pulled away. In a sense, I don't really get a lot of the phone calls that I was getting. I don't get the check-ins like I was getting before. I pray to Allah that at some point that we can come, like I said, I mean, and again, it's because they don't understand, and I don't want to, and I'm not upset with them. I know that they just don't understand, but what I want my family to understand is just ask me questions. Just ask. I don't have an issue I don't care who's Christian or who's what in my family. I mean, I still love you. Since I've been Muslim, my dad needed a ride to church. I took my dad to church and dropped my dad off to church. I didn't talk to my dad to try to convert my dad to Islam on the way to church. And my dad didn't try to convert me back to Christianity on the way to church. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm not, you know, but like I said, yeah, it's definitely, I have friends that I haven't talked to or haven't said anything to me in months. I have an aunt that I've called, hadn't said anything to me in months. And again, like I said before, I don't know about this. I don't know if it's this. A lot of people think that, well, you're a Muslim, you're a terrorist, or this and the third. And like I said before, and I tell anybody, when I became a Muslim, I promise you, no one taught me any type of terrorist acts. No one taught me anything negative. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand, man. I don't understand. But inshallah, I pray one day that my family would just see me, just see me. I'm still your nephew. I'm still your son. I'm still your uncle. I'm still your I'm still your cousin. I'm still, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a lot of other things I wanted to get to, but since we're on this topic, I was going to save it. But I just feel like it's a perfect chance to just say it now or get to it now. If there was something, when you speaking to the people who have decided to distance themselves because of your beliefs and, the path that you've chosen, if there was just something brief that you could say to them, like, what would it be?
Wow.
Give me a chance. Give me a chance to explain why I'm a Muslim. Don't abandon me because of my faith. You know what I'm saying? It's me, I'm the type. Why just let you be? I still love you, but I'ma just go over here. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. I can't change that. At the end of the day, I'ma live and die as a Muslim, no matter who don't like it. My family, my friends, whoever. I'ma be a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? So it's can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? If that's how you feel about it, that's how you feel about it. But just at least do some type of research or ask me questions, like you said. Do some type of research. Just don't be ignorant.
Yeah,
don't listen to social media and what headlines and stuff say.
And I think that's what got a lot of people going. Is a lot of the social media stuff. A lot of things that happened. When 9/11 happened, we was at Shaw University when it happened. So I remember that. I remember what it was like. I wasn't Muslim then, but I remember what it was like. I remember what the atmosphere was like during that time. And for me, like you said, talking to my family and friends or whatever, it would be more so, like Aaron said, just ask questions. Just ask us questions and understand and believe too that, in order to be a Muslim, I can't sit here today and say I'm a Muslim and not love Jesus. I can't tell you that I'm a Muslim if I don't believe that Jesus, we call him the Messiah. I'm a Muslim and I'm telling you that we call Jesus the Messiah. So I can't be a Muslim not unless I believe in Jesus. I can't. That's the only way. We call him the Messiah too. You know what I'm saying? But again, our belief system and what his role was in comparison to the Christian sect of belief is just different in that. But again, like I said before, I would just tell my family members, just ask me questions. Don't assume. I've done the same thing. I'm telling you, I did the same thing. When 9/11 happened, ignorance. What's going on? And now I understand, and it's like I'm on the opposite end, and I'm like, wow, I never would have thought that it would be me. When I say be me, I guess with my family really not having certain, conversations or asking me questions. And listen, I had a cousin of mine, and I'm just being real, a family member rather, send me something, and it was, when you guys go, why do you have to kiss the Kaaba, or go when you go to Mecca, when we make pilgrimage to Mecca? Well, when you go to Mecca or you go anywhere, it's not put upon us through the Quran or anything like that to where we have to go and we're made to go and kiss the Kaaba. That's something that you do out of your own will, because I've never experienced it. I pray, inshallah, one day I get to experience that, making Hajj. But again, to say that's what we have to do, and I asked my family, I said, always ask the Muslim. I said, that's not true. I said, where in any of my books I can show you the Quran. It doesn't say that when I go to Mecca I make pilgrimage I have to kiss the Kaaba. I said, but you sent it to me from a TikTok video as if it was true. So again, a lot of times media can kind of stir a person, a certain way. I'm gonna say this. My father, love my father. He put up, my dad's a Christian. I respect it. Hey, I'm not here trying to would I like all my family to be Muslim? Inshallah, yes, I would. Right? Who wouldn't, right? What Muslim wouldn't, right? But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna go and every time I come around I'm talking about Islam or trying to force something. That's not what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But again, like I said, my thing is just ask questions. My dad put up a video, right? And he didn't do it to hurt me. He didn't do it to purpose to hurt me. I know my dad didn't do it to purpose to hurt me. But in the video, when you got to the end, it called Muslims terrorists. It called Muslims terrorists. So at the end of the day, I'm saying to myself, okay, Pops, I know you don't really feel this way about us, but at the end of the day, your son is a Muslim, your daughter-in-law is a Muslim, your grandson is a Muslim. So even though this is a video that you repost, remember, your son is still a Muslim, your daughter-in-law is a Muslim, and your grandson is a Muslim. So it affected me in a way, but all at the same time, I do understand, well, he's just posting a video, he's not really putting two together that my son is a Muslim. And at the end, the pastor was calling Muslims terrorists. So, for me, that was just one of those things like, wow, what do you say?
So when is the last time that you spoke to both of you guys, the individuals who I guess more so have chosen to separate themselves? It not even from a religious perspective, just on like, yo, what's up, man? What's happening? Like, how's life? What's going on in your world? When is the last time you guys have had that communication? For
me, I haven't spoken to some of my family members in some months. Not of my own choosing. I mean, I've reached out. I mean, once you reach out and you extend that hand, I mean, what do you do? Like I said, I mean, I don't know what. And again, like Aaron said too, some of it is when we use the word, we're saying ignorance. We're not saying ignorance. We're not saying that they're ignorant. It's just that they don't understand. Because again, I didn't understand at one point. At one point, I didn't understand. So, you know what I'm saying? So they just don't get that just because we became Muslim, it doesn't mean that we can't go to a family reunion or we can't come to certain events or certain things. Ask us. And then with certain things that are going on, check on your family members, whether they're Muslim, Christian. I mean, you should just check on your family members regardless of what they are. Regardless of what they are, what they're doing, you should always check on your family members, man. That's what we're supposed to do in Islam. That's what it tells us to do. Visit the sick, visit your parents. Your parents are very precious people to you. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to do that.
Okay. How about you, Aaron?
Me, the homeboy was telling me, but I mean, I've seen him a couple times, like months ago. He'll say, "What's up, bro? I love you." And conversation be dry, of course, because at the end of the day, it's still out in the back of my head of what you said to me 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But there's no love lost. But all my other friends, they cool with me being Muslim because they see the growth in me. And I talk to them too and try to give a little seeds and nuggets and stuff here and there. And then, I mean, my folks, they gonna let me regardless.
Okay. That kind of going for. I wanted to make this comment before I got to the next part, but what you did kind of segue me to my next question in regards to your growth. But I also wanted to say, man, like, maybe it's me, maybe I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy and I'm ignorant to a large degree. But I just go up on somebody in my family that I know don't like me, and I grab them and hug them. I've done that. You know what I mean? Like, I have literally had issues with people in my family, and I know they have an issue with me, and I hug them and I say either you gonna hug me back or you gonna fight me. And it turns into one of them things where they be like, yo, you crazy, man,
Right.
get off me. Nah, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And I've done that on a couple of separate occasions with my family.
That's
I ain't have a
good.
father growing up, so I'm a little different. I want hugs.
It's nothing wrong.
You
with
know
it,
what I'm
man.
saying? But I'm just saying, like I said, for myself, man, I know that I'm different and I do stuff probably in an unorthodox way sometimes. But,
Yeah.
you know, I guess I'm saying that too to some degree. And I from what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys want to walk in your truth, but you don't want to feel like you're forcing your truth on your family.
Right.
There's
Right.
no compulsion in this now.
No
You can't force
compulsion.
somebody to be Muslim.
Right. But not when I say that, not forcing Islam on anyone, but I love you.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
what you gonna do about it?
Right.
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
It sounds crazy to say, but in my mind, and I could be wrong, in my mind, it registers that way.
Right.
What you gonna do? You gonna fight me because I love you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You gonna run from me because I love you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the same person I've always been. You know what I
Right.
mean? So what you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? And I would even challenge your family members, your friends, when you grab them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm loving you. I'm hugging you the way God hugs you.
Yeah.
You resisting God love? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know. I'm different.
No,
You know what I mean?
I get what
So-
you're saying. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, and like you said too. You know, it's just again, you know, I don't know. I just never would have thought that.
Because it hurt.
Yeah, it hurt. And I'll say this: it's not a lot of my I'll say friends per se. I said it's more so my family is what has kind of hit me, you know, kind of hard. And I'm gonna tell you something that happened, and this is true, and I gotta say it. And again, all of my intentions are pure. I'm not saying certain things to get a reaction out of anybody. I'm not trying to put any friend or family member, anybody on blast. I'm not saying names or anything like that. But there was a situation. There was a situation to where things that was going on a few months back. There were some Muslim sisters that had got physically assaulted in other states in the United States, in America, right?
Okay.
Due to the Israel and the Palestine, what's going on in that region. And that happened, and some Muslim sisters was kind of being assaulted around America, right? My wife's uncle, Christian man, gone to this man's house, seen him walk through the door, he's reading the Bible, okay? Out of everybody that I know, he happened to be looking at the news. He saw what happened on the news with this Muslim sister being stabbed. He called my wife and said, I wanted to say I'm sorry on what's going on how Muslims are being attacked because of what's going on in Palestine, right? And for him to call and just check on us, and even though a person would say, well, y'all ain't got nothing to worry about, y'all over here, you know, blah blah blah, but to know that someone called to say that they was concerned and they thought about us, it just made a word, it meant a lot to me, because guess what, again, when I go to this man's house, I see him with the Bible. I see him, I know him as a Christian. That's all I've ever known him to be. You understand what I'm saying? Another incident that happened, you're not going to believe this. My wife had a family member to pass. We go to a funeral. While we're at the funeral, I can't make this up, the pastor calls out me and my wife for being Muslim at the funeral. So he's preaching the sermon of the deceased. We're sitting in the middle. It's my wife's first cousin. We're sitting in the middle of the church. we're Muslim. So what I'm telling you is, about 2 months ago, maybe about a month and a half ago, we went to a funeral inside of a church as Muslims to support my wife's Christian family, which is our aunt. Why not? That's what we're supposed to do. We're Muslim, right? So we go in, and the pastor says, Muhammad can't save you, Islam can't save you, and he said, Assalamu alaikum, that can't save you. And the thing is, if you're doing a sermon, or I guess you'll say the eulogy for the deceased, how did Islam, Muhammad, or Assalamu alaikum come up in your eulogy for the deceased? It's only 2 Muslims sitting in the building. So why would you take your time and focus on the 2 Muslims when you got all the other Christians that you probably could have got something to? Remember, we're Muslim. We're already Muslim. We know that we're Muslim. When I went to the church, I knew I was a Muslim. I wasn't expecting to leave anything. I wasn't planning to leave any other way than how I came as a Muslim. But we went to support my wife's family because that's what we're supposed to do. My wife loves her aunt. You know, she loved her cousin. She loved her uncle. But yeah, he called us out. He said, yeah, hey, Muhammad can't save you. Islam can't save you. And he's supposed to have been preaching the eulogy of the deceased. And we got called out for being at a funeral.
Okay. Man, y'all just touched on so many different things. I wanted to make sure that I got back to something that Aaron spoke about. Because you said something that raised a question from me too. But I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself. So one of the things that I wanted to ask before I got too far ahead of myself was, what's some of the, I guess, most important lessons that you guys think that you've learned since converting over to, or come out? Again, I apologize, since I would rather say coming back
To
home.
Islam.
Is that okay for me to say coming back
I
home?
appreciate it, D. I love it.
Okay, since coming back home.
You know, my true purpose in life, and that's to worship God. That's it. That's the only thing. And to be content with what His decree is. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happens in my life, I gotta be content with. Because a lot of people in society tell you, oh, F being humble, F being content. I want more. I want more. That's chasing after this world. It's temporary. You know what I'm saying? Chasing after this world is like chasing after your shadow, dog. You're never gonna catch up to it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a bar.
You keep chasing, like more, like think about it. We never, us as humans are never content. We get a house, I want a bigger house. You get a certain type of car, I want another car. So you steady trying to chase after things, especially happiness. That's what everybody want to chase after. It's a temporary emotion. How you gonna chase after something that's temporary? You know what I'm saying? I look at this whole Islam, bro. It changed my whole worldly perspective on things, bro. Like money, you know how to quote sales, money can bring happiness. How that's temporary too. Something that's temporary can't placement. It's temporary. Like it's like, bro, the more you gotta divorce the world from your heart. Like divorce the money, cars, clothes, fame, everything. And I'm not saying it literally. Like, I'm saying it figuratively. You know what I'm saying? Because once it penetrates your heart, you're done for it.
Okay.
You know, that's what you're living for. Whereas us as Muslims, if you ever went long, you ain't never went touching ass or having like a Muslim funeral.
Nah, I haven't.
Where it's quiet, we leave. We leave, and not that it's a throw, but we wrap each other up in white cloth, naked. Like same way you came into this world, the
Same way you leave.
out. Leaving with nothing. Think about it. The emotions that we come here with, we stress up like depression, suicide, because our heart is in this world. We want everything in this world, which we came into this world without anything. And we're gonna leave out this world without anything. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, what are you chasing after?
Yeah. Yeah. 2 things you said I wanted to speak on before I get that and
Okay.
get your answer that I found intriguing was one, the closest I've been to a Muslim funeral, it's sad to say this, I guess it's weird at the same time, was when the Gilly, the kid,
Oh yeah.
his son Cheese passed, and I saw some of the postings about that, and I heard him talking about how he washed his son body
Yeah.
and things of that nature, and I
Yeah.
was listening to it, and I was like, wow, like You know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
that was interesting to me. So I would say, just to touch on that, that's the closest I've been to, I guess, having any participation or any knowledge about, you know what I'm saying, the homegoing of somebody who was a Muslim. But the second thing that you said that was interesting to me was happiness being temporary. Because I always say the only emotion that should last forever is love. You know what I mean? Because I often feel like the other things come in waves. Happiness, sadness, you know what I mean? The other thing, I mean, good, bad, indifferent, or whatever, it comes in waves. But I feel like if I love you with the purity of God, that's never going to change. You know what I'm saying? One of the things, you know, my grandma, she always says to me is, I love you, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like hearing her say that is crazy, because she's like, yeah, I'm mad at you, but I love you. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're getting on my nerves, but I love you. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe what you believe, but I still love you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One of those type of things. So that's just something I wanted to speak on in regards to that. But to you, Brother Rouse, like, what's one of the some of the biggest things, you know what I'm saying, you've learned?
Just in general, learning the way of life, really. You know, and I say that in means of a lot of things that Aaron touched on, man. We could go, and I can say some things now that you just wouldn't believe. I mean, even with, you know, with that alone, just we're being buried in 3 days for the most part. We're not being embalmed. The same way you come in, the same way you leave. And like I've even put on Facebook one time, I was like, you know, we need to be living to get our grave right. When I mean to live, get your grave right, and I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. When I was a Christian, and this is my truth, when I was a Christian, I was scared of death. When I say I was scared of death, I was scared of death. To go to a funeral, just to think about being in a coffin would be scary. To think about what's even though you hear the word heaven and hell, but what's it, like, it's just listening to that, right? But since I've been a Muslim, death, oh man, that's your transition. So we're looking at this is just temporary anyway. So we accept death as Muslim. Not only do we accept it, that's what we almost look forward to, is our end. And I'm being serious. And I don't say this to be, this isn't me being arrogant. No one take this to be arrogant, boastful, or anything. But if you ever go and you look at those brothers and sisters in Palestine, and you look at their faith when they're holding their infant kids and they're saying, you know, Allah Akbar, you gotta understand what that's about. So again, me becoming a Muslim, I look at death different. I look at how I treat my wife totally different. And I'm not saying that when I was a Christian it was just so bad. No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't want anybody to think that that's what I'm saying. But I just feel like Islam has definitely put me in a perspective of even being a better husband, understanding things even with money. We don't believe in charging interest. Muslims, we don't. When you go to certain Muslim countries, am I right or wrong, Aaron? We don't believe in charging interest. Or receiving interest. It's a reason for all of that. So again, listen, anybody, regardless of what your religion is, family, friend, whatever, I'ma love you and I'ma always do my best to give you what they used to say when I used to be Christian, the right hand of fellowship. I'm just gonna do that anyway, because that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? But when I say, man, I love it. I mean, I'm not, like Aaron said, I'm not a scholar. I'm not where I would want to be for as, you know, in my faith for as, I guess you could say, education wise. And that's an everyday process. That's an everyday process. Even if you're a Christian, every day, read your book. If you're a Christian, read your Bible. If you're a Christian, dig deep, research. You know, whatever it may be. If you're a Buddhist, dig deep, research, read. Don't just carry it, read it, stand on it. If that's what you're going to do, stand on it. You know what I'm saying? So just like with my family, everybody's Christians, stand on it. That's okay. When I come in the house and I come around, if you want to say thank you, Jesus, that has nothing to do with me. I'm still going to love you. guess what? I'm still gonna say something crazy to you probably. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So for me, for us to change, it's definitely changed me for my family structure, how I look at money, even with, like he said, chasing things, chasing money, cars, all this stuff. I got friends that call me, hey man, we good to do this, do this. Hey, whatever works for you, do that. That's fine. I'm not knocking it, but I don't run behind and chase things like that anymore. I just don't. I don't even want to. I don't want to do that.
I can dig it, man. I know we touched a lot of grounds, you know what I mean? I personally, I had some things that I wanted to get off my chest before we wrap this thing up, man. But I just want to make sure that, is there anything that you guys want to say? Because I mean, and if you guys want to speak to it, I do want to give you guys the floor to do it. Just to speak to your beliefs and your perspective of your beliefs and the perspective of the world beliefs on your beliefs. Is that something that you guys want to touch on? Because I just want to make sure that we don't leave no stones unturned. More so.
I want to go back to death, what he was talking about.
Okay, speak to me.
See, society, they'll tell you, oh, don't talk about death, or even in music, they'll say he kept talking about killing, he ended up dying.
Right.
You know, they say power with the tongue.
Right.
You can't speak something to existence when it's already written for you. Your death date is already written for you. How you gonna go out? Everything is already written. So it's just like, are you prepared for it?
That's an appointment that we all gonna make.
You can't miss. You can't reschedule that appointment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with me, bro. Even when we pray, we gotta pray like if it's our last prayer that we pray. We gotta remember death, but be conscious of our prayer. At the end of the day, you don't know what's gonna happen in the next 5-10 minutes from now. I ain't got no bucket list. I'm gonna do this or nah. I don't know how long I got. You know what I'm saying? It's the fact of like, I ask myself, if Allah was to take me right now, would He be satisfied with? What did I do with my time to please my Creator? You know what I'm saying? It's like people who scared to talk about death not prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be prepared for it.
Talking about death, right?
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You gotta ask yourself 2 questions: am I on the road to heaven, or am I on the road to hell? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just living life. You know, I read a quote. It was like, oftentimes we hear, live life like it's your last or something, and we supposed to. Dang, what's the quote, man? I forgot. We often hear life is short, live it up. Well, we don't hear that eternity lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? So prepare for death. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even get even like, my mom will tell me, oh, such and such died. That was the decree of Allah. Everybody gotta go. Can't question why. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with grief in Islam, you can't. I forgot. I don't want to say the wrong thing. But, you know, grief. I mean, everybody still grief be human, but that's just the decree of Allah, bro. Like you said, with the Palestinian brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, they martyrs. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Like, real life, they boosted my faith. You know what I'm saying? It's because your faith can look up and down, bro. You know what I'm saying? We humans, but like, the way they just accept death, like, even a 7-year-old, bro, they smiling. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they're not chasing the things of the world. And I'm not trying to, and again, I don't want anybody to look at the episode and just be like, so what, y'all do no wrong, Let me tell you something. I make mistakes all the time. I'm human. I'm flawed. We're all flawed people. We've all made mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, your goal is to try not to make the same mistakes and try to be better one day at a time. One day at a time. One day at a time. You know what I'm saying? For me, something that you asked, I'm gonna say this, and I want to put this out there too, because I know a lot of people think a lot of things is going on now with the TikTok stuff, man. A lot of people is coming to Islam as a religion and a faith, and a lot of people are asking questions about praying and, you know, why we do some of the things that we do. So, example would be, when we pray, we cleanse ourselves. Before we go and pray, We have to cleanse ourselves. We have to wash our hands. Anything that we've touched prior to this prayer, we're cleansing our hands of. We're going to take and we're going to put water in our mouth. Anything we've said or may have eaten, or anything that may not have been of Allah, we're cleansing our mouth. Our nose, anything that has that's open, we're cleansing our nose. We're washing our ears, our face, our feet, because we could have walked somewhere or been somewhere that's unclean. So we're even washing our feet before we pray. So before we even go before our Lord, we have cleansed ourselves. And we do those things for a reason. We trying to think of something that I know people probably have seen us do that may be a little different.
I mean, when you think about it from I want to say a European perspective, for the most part, almost everything that you guys do is different. You know, it's not based upon the tradition of what we've grown up under, because some of the things that you guys express that you do, I've never been in a mosque to actually see the praying take place. You know what I'm saying? Or been in a situation where I've seen a Muslim actually get down and pray. So even what you just spoke to, the things, the washing of the mouth, the hands, the feet, the nose, the ears, all of that is new. You know what I'm saying? All of that is unorthodox to me. So anyone who comes from my background, I'm pretty sure they would be like, what is all of that for? You know what I'm saying? So to actually be in a position where you guys can express how you guys come before your God, or God, I don't want to say your God, it seems it was differentiating from anything else. God, is new. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely, you know what I'm saying, a eye-opening experience. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know, like I said, for myself personally, just sitting back and hearing the things that because you guys touched on a lot of different things, but for myself, one of the things that touched on me, I'm real big on my loved ones. I'm real big on the connections that I have with the people around me. And I think that support is big, because regardless of what you may believe in, who you may believe in, while we are on this physical journey, within this body, in this temple, in this journey, the support from our loved ones, especially from our years up until our, upper years, is big to me. You know what I'm saying? And to hear that, certain family members, friends have, distanced themselves from you because you chose a different path, that kind of, it sucks. You know what I'm saying? That's the best thing I can.
It hurt, man. I'm telling you, definitely.
You know
hurt.
what I'm saying? It sucks. So for myself, one thing I wanted to say before I got off of this mic tonight was, to anybody that hears this broadcast, you know what I'm saying, and knows the dynamics of everything that it come with, this man, Eric Rouse, whatever y'all decide to call him, been my man's for years. And I just want to say that since he has chosen to walk his path, albeit we are not walking the exact same path, this man hasn't changed on me, and he has not stopped loving me or being the man who he is and who he has been from high school up until 40s. So if y'all can hear and see and understand that, then you gotta understand this man is who he is as a man, first and foremost. And I just wish that anybody who hear this would just accept him and love him for that. Because I love you, brother. You know what I'm saying? And it's nice to meet you. I just met Aaron for the first time tonight. And this man has been nothing but a respectful king in my presence. And I've been trying to be as hospitable to him as possible. And it has nothing to do with what someone believes in, or if their difference of belief is, if their belief is different from ours. So that's what I wanted to say on the mic. Anything else from you, Kings?
I guess I say, man, to my
We gonna leave them
to my friends and family, man, I love all y'all. I wish everybody much success. From every organization that I've been in, every stretch of North Carolina, because it ain't like I've been so far, right? That I've been in. You know, I just want everybody just to be happy, man. Just love yourself, love one another, man, and you know, really don't allow the media to actually tell you who you are and tell you who your family members are. Don't allow the media to tell you who your family members are. Reach out to your family members and find out who they are. You know what I'm saying? I just tell my family members, you know, just reach out to me, call me. You got questions about Islam? Trust me, I'm willing to answer whatever I can. And again, I'm not gonna have every answer. But what I can't answer, I can go and maybe get the answer. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of it for me, man. Just ask questions, man. I'm not trying to every time I come around my family, I don't want them to think, man, that I'm bringing. You know how some people are like, oh man, here he go. That's not me. You just gotta know me for, like you said, you just gotta know me for who I am.
Right.
That's not me. You know what I'm saying? I miss talking to my family members. I miss talking to my aunts and my uncles and people like that, man. So I just, hey, you know, just want everybody to understand, man, that we human. You know what I'm saying? Just because I became a Muslim, it didn't make me non-human. I'm still human. I still got feelings. I still like chocolate cake. I still like peanuts. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing changed when I became a Muslim. It didn't change my whole my makeup. You know what I'm saying? So you know. But
I got you chocolate cake. How about you, Harun? You like chocolate cake too, brother?
To my folks, you know, of course they know I love them, you feel me? You know, they're like God, you know, and just learn, ask me questions. Like, I love my grandma to death, man. I sit and talk with her all the time, and she learned a lot from me teaching her about Islam, you know what I'm saying? That's a good thing, and, you know, the rest of my folks, just learn, bro. Just take the time out to just learn something small, like just learn what is Islam, like instead of going off, you know what I'm saying.
Can I say one more thing?
Talk to me.
I want to tell you what's strange what he just said too. It seemed like to me though, so my wife has an uncle that's 89 years old. I gave him a Quran last year and he wanted it just to read it, just to see. He know that we're Muslim. You know what I'm saying? He's probably not gonna be a Muslim, but he took the Quran. He was like, yeah. And when I went to on my way to the bathroom, I came down for the holidays. He was at the kitchen table taking the pages, going through the Quran, but I had gave him the Quran the day before. So again, all I'm saying is I'm not trying to push it on anybody or say, you need a Quran. That's not what I'm saying. My point is, and making this comment, it's just like the older people for some reason seem like they're more accepting and open to embrace us than some of my young, like my aunt, some, you know, just I don't know, but like you say, you know, hopefully inshallah things change, and I'm sure it will.
Okay, man. Look, before we get up out of here, like I said, man, it's been a long time since I put the camera on, but you know, I feel like this was a great reason to do so, man. I appreciate both of you brothers. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all presence and y'all existence, man. And hopefully this pod could, you know, reach some people with closed ears and open their minds to some different things. You know what I mean? And with that being said, man, we got Rouse, we got Aaron, we got Kaz, Strategic Behaviors. We out here. It's a wrap, baby. See y'all on the other side.